Hello, everybody, again. When I found out from Robert that I will be the last, I was wondering what is better or worse, to be right after lunch or at the end of the session. In any case, I appreciate the fact that you stayed. So going back to the slide I presented before, let's talk about the data first, okay? So we have a number of what we call solution layers. First, we need, because naturally we have tens of customers and the vast majority of them are not using aggregated data. The PSD2 in Europe will kick off only next year. So we need benchmark data. This will allow us to create or to send customer the insights which I mentioned on my session. And I will give you a semi-live demonstration in a few minutes. But now, it's definitely when we are coming or getting into the PSD2, we need to bring the data. So we use what we call hooks. So this is a theoretical data that you can basically ask your customers. So there are a number of sources for that. The first source would be public data. So the regulator, Bureau of Statistics, they have lots of information that maybe they can provide us, like average income and stuff like that. In addition, the bank itself, of course, will provide us lots of information about their customers. And later on, we can segment them into meaningful information. And finally, and occasionally, we will need to ask the consumer itself, please bring us additional information in order to create value for you. The thing is that we think that it should be in an indirect manner. Otherwise, they might say, definitely no. So this is one way to do it. So basically, in this case, we want to understand how much to save. So we will start with a rich teaser, which you can see over here on the left. Okay, there's some problem with the display. And we will ask him how much does he think that other people are saving. And once he will answer, he will click continue. We will give him the answer, but also we will ask him, okay, so what is your total saving or spending or category saving, taking into account that if we will go direct, we will probably not get the answer. This is an example of a specific category. Again, in order to enrich our PFM solution, we will ask him, specifically on the category, he will put a benchmark type of answer, and then we will use it. Now, I want to discuss on the Engage solution. It's totally a mess. Okay, I'm using my laptop, so there's some problem. So let me move directly to the demo. Keep your finger crossed that it will work. Okay, so this is my application. So I want to give you a few examples. Imagine that this is your banking application, and customers, okay, and customers are logging in. So this is a regular home screen of a regular bank. Now, suddenly on the left, you see a small widget. This is Personetics. So Personetics is not providing a separate application. No way. Customer will not download yet another application. So we will provide them with a small widget like that, or if, and this is definitely what's happening when we're working with pure digital banks, so not legacy banks like probably most of you, half of the screen will be devoted to the messages coming mainly from Personetics. But let's use this example. So the customer might be interested, he will click this new service, and now we will start being exposed to messages. So you can see, you can scroll down and basically see those rich teaser. And let's talk about the first example, new service. So think of it as an introductory type of message. So it will not be Personetics, it will be, I don't know, BCR, SocGen, whatever bank, is a new breed of banking solution just for you, dear customer. And it's, the solution will introduce itself. So I can do account activity, I can monitor or forecast your cash flow. I can provide you with financial education. I can do spending analysis for you. And eventually, you can customize the experience. Each customer can customize it for itself. Now, on the bottom, you see a starring mechanism. This is super important. Personetics, as I said before, have come out with 150 messages. Now, all banks we are working with already develop some of the messages by themselves. All banks are communicating with their customer. They didn't wait for Personetics, of course. So eventually you can find yourself with 200 possible messages. Now imagine that Robert is now logging in his application, and we have found 10 relevant messages for him. We will never be allowed by the bank to display 10 messages. This is spamming, even if they are really in favor of the customer and looking after the customer. So we have a feedback loop or a machine learning capability that create a specific rating for each message for each customer. We are here like 20, 30 people in the room. So each one, imagine this example, all of us will get the exact same message, low balance prediction, for instance. Each one might react differently towards the same message. I might completely ignore it, I don't care. Robert will click it and rate it, and others will rate it in a different way. Each one, by his behavior, just slightly change the rating of this specific message to himself. Extrapolate this with hundreds of messages and, of course, hundreds of thousands and millions of customers, and then you get a true personalized and relevancy which is being kept. And then let's say I found this message okay, I will give it 3 stars. I will also put a comment. All of them, customer can comment. We analyze everything automatically. Again, to keep the relevancy intact. So this is first example. Another one is check this payment. I think I talked about it previously, but basically I have a Netflix account which is about to expire, the free trial. So I'm getting a message, beware, you're about to pay now, allowing me to cancel the subscription, assuming I want to do that. Travel summary. So we have the capability to analyze the customer activity, transactions, and to see whether he's about to take a trip outside Romania, and also we know when he's coming back. By the way, we know it by an ATM withdrawal usually. This is the best option. Now, with this understanding, we can do many, many things. For instance, we can, if we know that the customer is about to take a trip, why not offer him travel insurance? Or once he just completed the trip, we know he came back, we send him an analysis of all the expenses divided into categories. And other options as well. Sometimes we can compare him to other customers, and we can see that he's not using the bank card while he's traveling compared to other customers. This is what we call benchmarking. In this case, we will encourage him by sending him promotional offers, maybe special FX conversion rate discount, in order to encourage him to use the bank card while he's traveling. In this specific example, it will be basically the list of all the transactions he made during his trip to Japan. By the way, you can ask questions along my presentation. You don't need to wait for the end if you have any. Okay, another one. This is quite simple, but still refund. I just received 2 refunds, and this is unusual, so my bank decided to alert me on that or just to notify me with the details. Let's move to another example. Okay, deposit delay. So in this case, there was a prologue, it's probably an institution, that every month paid me a certain amount. Now we get the historical data, we analyze it before actually we are launching the solution, and then we identify the patterns, including this example. So in this case, even though this is the time of the month where I'm supposed to get this deposit, I did not get it. So immediately our solution will populate a message to the customer, for your information. Maybe the customer is aware of the fact that he should not get this payment anymore, but maybe not. So we are alerting the customer, have a look, this is how much you received before, this month you did not receive the amount, for your information. And then we will place probably a link to the contact details of this specific institution to solve the problem. Unusual deposit. So in this case, this specific customer received an unusual amount into his account. Of course, we're using standard deviation and other statistical measurement in order to identify this. But again, we will not just let him know, we will offer a solution. In this case, a good solution could be, this is unusual amount, why not having a deposit or a saving program or an investment program? And we will tailor a one which he will, with high probability, will accept. And as always, of course, he can rate those messages. Paycheck deposit. So this is like Super simple message. Yeah? It's just telling you how much you received in your last salary, and it will give you the previous salaries you received. But now I want to discuss about the integration with the chatbot. Now we call it hybrid solution, and we believe this is the top tier solution banks are taking these days, meaning the ability to integrate between proactive messages pushed into the chatbot experience and vice versa. So let me repeat it, maybe in a slower pace. Imagine that you're getting a low balance prediction, meaning that I will be in overdraft next week. And then you scratch your head, you say, hey, how come? But I don't understand. So what you do, you activate the chatbot from within the message itself and starting to investigate what's going on. Didn't I receive my last paycheck? Show me all my transactions. Show me all my checks. You can do everything inside the message via a chatbot functionality. We believe this is the next big thing in the industry. So I want to present this example here. So I'm going back to the message of the salary income. Now we want to I mean the bank, we want to encourage our customers to save. So the customer will click the icon. This is a chatbot now. Now the chatbot will be in relation to this specific message. You can still ask something like, show me my balances and stuff like that, but this is not really smart, right? He can simply go to his application and see the balances. So in this case, we are prompting him with a message, encourage him to save. Once you get the salary, if you immediately save, then there's high probability that you will meet your goals. So would you like to set a new saving goal? Now you see I can write in the bottom everything, free text, or I can click those quick replies, which is always easier. So I would say yes, actually I'm interested. Now for reminder, the salary was about $4,000. So, okay, sorry, first what is the name? So let's say education. I want to say for education. Now let's see what is the amount that will be, I would say, suggested by the system. The system actually offers 10%. Now this is totally editable, meaning that the bank, our customer, will be able to put any number inside. If he feels that 10% is too aggressive, we will say 5%. But in any case, the consumer can override everything. So in this case, would you like to change the amount? Yeah, this is crazy. I have no way to save. Yes, please.
About this 10%, you said that you make analysis of the data and you can predict if he runs out of money or stuff like that. Can you predict how much he could save?
Yeah, absolutely yes. Okay, so there are many at Personetics saving option and solution. Some of them, I don't know if you remember when in my previous session, are totally automatic based on cash flow prediction. Some of others would be, we believe that you can now save in one shot $10,000 or 10,000 lei, whatever. In this specific case, this is a relatively simple program. This is a fixed amount that you save for a fixed amount of fixed number of months, that's it. But yeah, absolutely yes, it can be adjusted according to what we believe the customer can save, okay? Or if you prefer to keep it simple, I mean you, the bank, you will tell us, let's hold on, let's first offer something which is fixed, let's say 10% of the salary, and then move to the next phase, which is based on the customer, I would say, ability to save, the individual customer ability to save. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay. So would you like to change the amount? Yes, $400 is way too much for me, unfortunately. So I will put the amount, whatever, 300. Saving period, as you can see, it's a very simple one. I can say 4.5 months, or I can simply click 6 months, whatever. Let's make it simple. Those, by the way, those quick action, I don't know if you're familiar with chatbot, they have two, they are there for two reasons. A, to make it easier for the customer. It's always easier to click something than to start typing, even though we support voice. But also it gives them the understanding of what is the range of question they can ask, the potential question they can ask. So this is a summary of my newly created saving program. I will say yes, I confirm. And now basically Personetics prepare an order file, so to speak, to be sent to the core system of the bank. And from the customer now, it's seamless. He's in this saving program. Gamification. Another way, and definitely this is super relevant in the PSD2 era, we are looking for cool, easygoing way to communicate with your customers. So gamification would be one good example. In this case, it's a quick quiz, test your spending IQ. In this case, it will be a specific category question. Can you guess your average monthly spend on entertainment? Now, anyone has a guess? How much? 40 to 70. Good job. Okay, not bad. So you will click it. You will see your previous, in this case, entertainment category spending in previous months, of course, with the actual transaction. And obviously, you can put here a follow-up action or call for action. In this case, maybe you want to reduce the amount, or maybe you want to put aside some money, or whatever. So again, we are totally flexible with the call for action or follow-up action that we can offer the bank. Based on our best practices, of course, we will agree together with the bank what should we do over there. Sometimes it will simply be the message, but in other cases, there will be a solution or a follow-up action for those messages. Upcoming payment. So again, this is a prediction. Based on the historical data patterning, we predict that there will be a payment into our account. So be ready, dear customer. And I will finish with two types of messages that looks like PFM. I don't know how popular is PFM, Personal Finance Management in Romania. But we have some similarity with, let's say, 5% of our messages. This is review of account activity during December. So this guy has multiple accounts. Let's say whatever, let's choose the red one. So you see over here, it's basically inflow and outflow. So it's nothing to do with credit card, it's just regular banking activity. I can move to previous months, of course. Let's stay with December. I can see over here some basic statistics. If I will further scroll down, I can see the total outflow and inflow if I want. And I can move to the different categories, and if I will further scroll, I can see, the actual transaction related to this specific inflow category. And my last one is a spending analysis. In this case, this is almost like a batch type of message, which means that all of the customer will get this message, unless they showed us, quote unquote, they are not interested in those messages. They can proactively say, stop sending me this bullshit, or they can simply ignore previous messages, so we understand if they ignore it, they probably don't like it. Also, we're using benchmarking, meaning if you, for instance, we are statistically similar, and people like yourself and me previously ignore it, we will infer that I don't like it as well. So not only the specific consumer reaction will impact the score, but also other customers which are similar statistically to him. But let's assume that I'm interested for the sake of the demo. This is an end-of-month summary of all of my expenses. Now, it can be one credit card or multiple credit cards, right? So for the PSD2, it can be, of course, very, very relevant. The challenge, of course, is how can you convince the customer to link other credit card, and I heard that the regulation is not really permitting this for now, but just this is for now what we have. And as before, you can see previous month's expenses. Let's stay with October. As before, you can see the categories related and the transactions. And as always, let's say this is an okay message, no more than that. I will give it 2 stars, and I will signal the system. Next time, I'm not sure I need to see those messages. They're not relevant to me. Now, to complete my session, let's talk about maybe the administration tool. So together with our solution, we provided an admin tool, and which means that, okay, we will bring 150 messages out of the box, but banks already have messages by themselves. So they can rebuild those messages in various, I don't know, fraud-related or whatever, credit-related, rebuild them very easily inside our administration tool, and then we will be the center of, or let's think of it as an optimization solution, because you want to avoid duplicate messages. So if you have a campaign management solution and Personetics, occasionally they might contradict each other. So you don't want to do it. So most banks, they start with two in parallel and they shut down the one which are contradicting, while the other saying, let's go through Personetics with all of our messages, and then all of the capability that I mentioned, the machine learning, the starring, the rating, will be relevant, of course, for the newly created messages by the bank. Okay, I think that's it for now. Questions?
You said that you can somehow match similar persons, like for statistically similar persons. Have you thought about something like in your gamification engine to encourage people to say, hey, other people have managed to save this amount of cash for the last 5 months. Your number 10 in your, do you want to speed it up, or here's how you can do it? Because I think this actually can increase the learning curve for the financial education.
Yeah, so was that the question? I can relate to it. Just a comment. Okay, so first of all, you're right. Yeah, benchmarking, just to explain what is benchmarking. We have found that people really interested in their finance. Of course, I want to understand better how am I doing, what are my problem, challenges. But even I'm more interested of how others are doing. So when I being compared, people, exactly as you said, people like yourself, they manage with your kind of salary, range of salary, they manage to pay their mortgage in a faster pace, or they manage to allocate 15% of their salary to their mortgage payment, and you only 10%. This will drive them more than usual to take an action. And then, of course, as I said, there will be a solution. Click here, and mortgage advisor, the mortgage advisor of your bank, will call you in order to maybe to arrange a prepayment or reshuffling of your mortgage program. Yeah, absolutely. Benchmarking is a very good way to encourage people to act. Sorry? It's the banks who are paying for this. Of course.
Yeah, so how can I, as a consumer, trust you that you're proposing the best solution for me as a consumer and not for the bank?
Can you repeat the question? I'm not sure I follow.
How can I trust I, as a consumer,
Mm-hmm.
that you, as a representative of the bank, are proposing the best solution for me and not the bank? Maybe the best solution for me is to spend it. I don't know.
Okay. Good question. I showed you, I think, like 7 examples. We have 150. I don't mind staying until 8. My flight is at 10, so no problem. No, I'm joking. But if I would have had more chance to show you more examples, you would have seen that 99% of the examples looking after the customer. We are living in the Personetics, in the world of customer experience. We are not a campaign management, there are great solutions, they can do it. We looking only after the customer. But eventually we're working with the bank. The bank needs the ROI, it needs the money, right, on return. So what we do, we allow them, using our advanced analytics, like you're about to be in overdraft, to upload, to do a cross-sell or an upsell solution. So we have no trust problem in the rating that I showed you before, 40%, 40% of the customer do rate their messages. Why the engagement level is very high? Because suddenly, the bank is looking after me, suddenly. Have you ever heard of a message that the bank sends you that you're about to have problems? Sometimes problems that you will have to pay commissions or fees for. So yeah, so Personetics is coming from a different angle completely. So the trust is not a problem. Was that a question or no? Okay, thank you very much.